Welcome back to Fox Valley in Focus. We're talking with Mark Guethle, chairman of the Kane County Democrats. We have the distinct privilege, if you would call it that, or disgrace in Illinois to be one of the most corrupt states in the Union. And we've experienced this corruption within both parties. What do you predict about election reform here in Illinois?
Well, I think the current Governor Quinn is committed to that, just that, type of open government and honesty, no pay-to-play type of politics. But let's go back. I disagree with the fact that we're the most, or one of the most corrupt states. There's a lot of problems in other states. Look at Florida, Louisiana, South Dakota, South Carolina. Just about every other state has these type of issues. It takes General Assembly, which is the House and the Senate, to come up with a plan. They need to agree on a plan, and the governor will sign the plan. So, things like this happen. You move on. You talk about it. It's good to talk about these types of matters, but I just don't think that saying that we're the most corrupt state is an accurate statement. So I'd have to disagree with you.
How do you solve the problem, though, when the people who are attempting to fix the problem are the people who are enmeshed in the problem?
Well, most of the state has been cut. All the programs and directors have to cut staffing. So when you have to cut staffing, that means you can't add jobs to those roles. So that's a start right there. And our state is one of the lowest governmental bodies there is in the country, meaning that we cut the most, and there's more cuts coming from the governor. So, that's really kind of the crux of the problem. And then the contracts from some of the vendors, and that's being adjusted. So those are the two probably most prominent issues that would address those concerns.
But we also rank in the lowest three, in the bottom three, as far as social services and funding those who are most in need.
Well, that's true, but again, it takes a General Assembly to agree on a plan. Right now they agreed to a capital spending plan, which will help put jobs in our area. Just recently the governor did say he's going to sign the capital projects bill. He's going to do it Monday in Chicago. That'll create $7.1 million just for Aurora area. I know North Aurora's got $400,000 invested in that plan for roads and streets improvements. Those are real critical issues for us in our local governments because people want to move into a town with nice streets, curbs and sidewalks, and improves the resale value of homes. It does a lot of things. It creates economic justice for the people who need jobs so they can spend back into the economy so the cycle can keep going. You need to create work for people. If you can't do that, then you're going to be hurting.
But that's infusing money into the infrastructure.
And schools.
Okay.
Like Wabanzi is going to see some benefits from that capital spending plan, too.
But what about developmental disabilities, people with special needs, and people who are not receiving services from other government agencies?
Well, most of the agencies receive their monies from the government. So when people are working, they're paying taxes. So there's more tax revenue so you can fund those type of programs. Now, the governor has stated that he would like to see those revenue source for those social services. The General Assembly rejected it, so it looks like he's put it in a 5-month plan to, get a budget, because you have to have a budget to bond out to get the infrastructure improvements. Looks like they agreed to that. Hopefully come back in January and they'll address those issues. They need Republicans and Democrats to work on that together to create, some type of revenue source for those services. Without the General Assembly having a plan, then it's tough for the governor or anyone to come up with, you can't just sign something that's not law yet.
Well, and what happens when you reach that impasse? Let's talk a little bit about the two parties and how important it is. Are we going to stay in a do you foresee us staying in a two-party system?
I don't know. It depends on, the people who want to run for office and the people who vote for them. Right now, the Green Party is in Kane County. They had a candidate last year, I think, in 2 races. I don't know how many votes that person, took, but I think it's all about the person running for office and the message they want to put out there. What party affiliation. Again, I'll go back to Kane County isn't real partisan as you would think. I think it goes on your message and your issues.
And yet we're seeing, even though local elections are supposed to be nonpartisan, we're seeing party affiliations at the local level. What do you think about that?
Well, I think even county board is nonpartisan. I think the sheriff's post is really a nonpartisan post. I think the mayors and all those those are real nonpartisan races, in my opinion, because you're not making any issues on state and federal government issues, your local governments, streets, roads, police, fire. Those are the type of decisions you're making. So I think you just work together and things can get done.
And yet there is still party involvement.
At some level. I don't know.
Well, tell us about your endorsement process at the local level.
For the party? Mm-hmm. Well, if there's a primary, we don't really get involved in the primary. If there's 3 people running for a particular office as a Democrat, we normally stay out of it, and the committeemen decide who they want to, work for, and then we get behind the winner at the end of the primary.
And then back the candidate for the general
Right.
election. And then how does that change as you go up the level into a wider arena?
Well, it's the same plan. Precinct committeemen knock on doors in our precinct, and they deliver the message from the candidates, and usually we have a palm card that shows, a statement and some contact information for the voters to call the person or the candidate, ask them questions if there are any.
And you also have other points of contact. You do a lot of events to generate interest and increase awareness.
Well, we have 3 fundraisers a year for the party. We also are active at the fair. So there's parades, there's other issues that our candidates go to, and if the committeemen want to help out, they do. So we're active in the communities, and a lot of the committeemen are tied into different organizations that they talk, to the voters about.
And you are a state central committeeman.
Correct.
Let's talk about that organization. How does it start at the grassroots level and evolve to the Springfield?
Well, there's 8 counties in the 14th Congressional District. And DeKalb is really the center of the 14th Congressional District. And there's a lot of people running for different offices, and we all meet there once a year, and we have a conference. And we talk about, the issues that they're concerned about, how do they fund their campaigns, and what type of messaging they want to do. There's classes that they take, and we host some classes for training. We try to get qualified candidates to run for office. We really work hard at that, and it's not an easy task to find someone that's non-political that wants to run for office in a kind of traditional Republican area. They put their name out there and they get hammered and especially with the news and, people, if you say you're a Democrat, it used to be in Kane County, they would say, oh my God, you're going to lose. And we stopped that. And so we're getting more quality candidates stepping up. They want to run for office, and we show them how to, go about the things needed for a campaign.
All right. Mark, thank you so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
When we come back, we'll go from politics to performance. Don't go away.